This is a very unusual video for me to have to make, but I think it's one that's worth telling. So a lot of people may have seen over on TikTok, there was some videos going kind of crazy about a plushy pigeon that had gone missing. Now, this pigeon belonged to my friend Dark, and we make funny little videos with him, and on the very last, I'd say about 15 minutes before we left the venue, we had clearly dropped him somewhere. Now, at the time, we had absolutely no idea where he was dropped. We knew we'd seen him in front of the Costa, the very last Costa, the one just before you exit the Excel building, as some people had stopped me for some photos. Other than that, we knew that we had walked all the way up to the DLR station and towards the DLR for Canning Town. So we realized when we got about halfway back to our hotel, where's Ploppers? Our little pigeon dude. Dug out everything from our bags and he wasn't there. So we panicked. I called my friend, who I said, "We've dropped him, we've lost him, we don't know where he is. Are you still at the venue?" He went and ran to security to ask if anyone had handed him in, if anyone had picked him up. Unfortunately, there was nothing there, so we were on our way back. We'd got on the wrong tube out of pure panic. And we got back to the venue. We were looking all over the place. Literally, we were going through trash, like looking down into the trash cans and trash bags. Dark even hit it with his Minecraft Steve pickaxe, one of them, because we saw something that kind of resembled him, but it was like, nope, this is not a plushie. So we were kind of distraught because Dark has autism and ADHD, and it is very likely I do have at least autism. And plushies are a very big comfort item, but Ploppers was kind of a comfort but also had a lot of sentimental attachment. So we had taken him so many conventions, he'd gone to Dark with festivals, and it was just really horrible. It was like kind of losing a pet. That's how the feeling felt, very similar to that. So we were there, we were asking the security. The security, I will say 100%, the XL security on the Saturday evening was so lovely. There was a lady and a guy right at the front, and they were so kind and understanding. They asked the cleaners, they went and asked lost property. Unfortunately, there was nothing. So after so much distress, crying, misery, we put on a video on TikTok to see if anyone had seen him. I put it also on my Instagram and in several Facebook groups to try and reach as many people as possible. This video did kind of blow up, but we were like, no one still said that they've seen him. So Sunday we kind of did nothing. I was there as a creator, and we had planned out a lot of content that we just didn't do because our hearts were so hurt, and all we could do was hyper focus on getting him back. So on the Sunday we instantly knew we have to go get some kind of posters made. The Excel actually has its own little shop underneath near the car park area, and we had so many pictures of him, so we just sent them a picture. We got it printed, we got 10 made. We had one literally strapped to Dark's torso with him missing. I had one on my bag that was duct taped. We bought the duct tape from this same little store downstairs. We also bought the Sharpies to write out the missing. I stuck some around the convention, but then we were told we can't do that, so we were like, okay, well, we'll just carry them. We did have the idea to ask some stall holders if they wouldn't mind putting some up. These were mostly stalls that we had previously bought Pigeon merchandise from on the other days, and honestly, without these stall holders, biggest huge love to the Wonderboro, who got in contact with somebody who had seen this happen, and it was another vendor, and this vendor had said, well, I saw this happen and I think he was picked up by a group of princesses. This was an uncertain thing, like you couldn't really, if you don't know each individual fandom, sometimes you're gonna misinterpret. Like a lot of Genshin Impact you could personally see as kind of mythical princessy. We just had that, a vague thing to go off. It was picked up by cosplayers in a group of 3 or 4. We thought, oh, at least it was picked up by cosplayers. That could mean people in the community, other than some like random normal kid or a family, you know, of passers-by. It was picked up by someone in the convention community, which was like, okay, there is a little bit of hope. We did also go down to the Excel's Lost and Found security office. Again, we had no problems with the Excel security. They were so lovely, so helpful. The guy downstairs was so kind. He gave us a number to call as well if needed. We even actually, going back to the previous day, we even contacted the DLR. They were really helpful. Again, the DLR staff were really helpful. They got us like some phone numbers and things. They checked the lost and found for us there and then, pretty much. So everyone we kind of were in contact with was super helpful. So we were given the information from the Wonderboro that another stall holder had seen the princesses. We put up a second TikTok. We said, well, we know he's been picked up by cosplayers. Is there anyone who knows any information? Please let us know. It's not just a plushie, it's a sentimental item that holds a lot of meaning and a lot of love and comfort and enjoyment and everything. So when we found out that information was when we would do it, you know, we were going all out. We had been carrying the posters around the entire convention. Most people were like, is that a real thing? Like, I will say everyone around the actual convention at MCM were generally very kind about it when they looked at it. In hindsight, we should have written straight away on the first poster that it was an autistic comfort toy rather than just a missing poster with a picture of a plushy pigeon. Because some people might have thought it was part of our costumes or something, which I think might have helped speed things up, but it was the last hour of the convention and we both already decided we were going to stand at the DLR at the bottom and just stand there with these posters and see, hopefully, if someone returned the second day, if they'd picked him up or knew anything, they could basically tell us. Unfortunately, nothing. We had some extremely rude, extremely horrible people, 2 of which were cosplayers, and if that was you, you're disgusting. Have some compassion, especially at this point when we had written on underneath a separate piece of paper that it was an autistic comfort toy, and to just laugh in our faces like that was so insensitive and disgusting. And I hope your shop in Trolley veers always slightly to the right. We did have some disgusting normies, like a group of men who were disgusting and vile about it, and I'm like, you know what? Again, DLR staff, lovely, at the bottom where they were directing people where to go when they left the venue. Excel staff again were like, oh, you guys can't stand here, but this one guy led us to a place we were able to stay, and that was fine. We stayed there until 2 hours after closing because we were so distraught and just wanted to do anything we could to find him. There was another security team, and these are the ones hired by the convention, by the way, not the Excel, and that is... I can't remember the company name, so I'll just put it up here because Dark does know. I will put the name here. These ones were the least sympathetic and the least understanding. So in future, if people are having problems with security, it is more than likely to be this company rather than Excel's, because I cannot even deny every single Excel security member we had contact with was so lovely, understanding, or at least tried to help in some way. There was a few that were kind of offish, but nothing compared to this other security company, which were very much like, do not care, get lost, like kind of get away from us sort of thing. Like literally screaming, go home, you got a problem. Things like that, and it was like, and it was tough. It was really rough. I will say though, the amount of people towards the very end who were coming out, reading the sign, taking a picture to put on their social medias was so lovely. So lovely. The amount of people who were so sympathetic and kind, even understood where we were coming from, saying like, I understand how you feel, this would break me if I lost my special plushie or something. And it was so kind and so community spirited. After this, we kind of gave up after there was basically no one coming in and out. There was one person who told us there was a band playing at MCM who had a pigeon on this set. And we were like, is this it? Is this our boy? So we went through screenshots, there was a live stream, we literally went through this entire thing, and there was a pigeon and it resembled him. Now, I messaged every single member of this band, even some that weren't actually playing at MCM, to find out, is this our pigeon? Did a fan gift this to you? Did you find it? You know, we had no idea. They actually got back to me and showed a picture of their pigeon, and it was not ours, but it was something we could rule out that they didn't have him, sort of thing. So we were back on the lead of the princesses. We kind of just waited things out. It was the day we were leaving, it was now the Monday, we were heading back to the Excel, we were going to call in to see if anyone had handed him in on the Sunday, or we were going to just film the area we were going to film the area that we had dropped in, where the artist had seen the group pick him up, and just kind of make a last shot video to say, look, this is where we believe he was dropped, this is where he was picked up, if anyone knows anything. And as we got to sit down, because we had all of our luggage with us at this point, so I was going to sit down, Dark was going to go to the security office while I edited the last TikTok to show where we went. I did like a whole monologue on it, like saying, guys, this is where it was, this is what it means, you know, we've done this and this and this. And yeah, we sat down and we got a message. So both the videos had gone crazy, like 10k views, so many likes, so many shares, so many comments. Facebook had gone wild. Instagram, I had a lot of reposts, like people screenshotting and sharing. It was insane. I've never seen such a community spirit come together for an autistic person and their plush pigeon. And it was the most, honestly, it was beautiful. It was the most community spirited thing that people didn't know us. We don't know a lot of people in the UK convention scene at all. And the fact that total strangers were willing to just post this plushie to their social media to try and help somebody else was so lovely to see. And eventually it met the right person, and we got a message saying my friend picked this pigeon up, and we got in contact with him and he made it home safely. And honestly, it gives me faith in the community, and I think MCM's convention community is probably one of the nicest I've ever seen. There is so much love and hate that people have for MCM on various things, but personally I have rarely had a negative experience at MCM. I've had a few little moments, don't get me wrong, but overall I think MCM is a lovely convention. You can really enjoy things there. It's got such a great community spirit that I didn't even realize existed there until this happened. people pulled together and helped out another person in need and made something that felt impossible possible. And I also want to say thank you to all these people who helped us, and to the Excel staff for helping. And we actually even had 2 members of the London police actually help us as well, and they were really kind and understanding. The lost and found for MCM as well, they had a separate lost and found. Those guys were really lovely. All the vendors who shared, everyone who shared on social media, it was insane. And I don't think there's going to be another story quite like this of the lost pigeon of MCM London, which it was insane. I've never done something like that. We stood outside the venue 2 hours after the convention closed, holding up signs saying missing autistic comfort plush. Find a plushy pigeon, and I'm so glad we did, because it took a lot of endurance, a lot of mental strength, physical strength to push through the physical pains, the mental distress, the social anxiety, the social burnout, everything. But we did it, guys. We did it as a community, as 2 nobodies, me and Dark. We got our plushy boy back. Ploppers the pigeon is home. And yeah, I figured this was a fun story people might want to hear and know that it's got a happy ending. So yeah, a little bit different from my usual MCM videos. I do have some other videos on the way. Feel free to drop me a like, and don't forget to subscribe. Most of my content is cosplay related or gaming. So, you know, if that's something you're interested in, feel free to check out my other stuff. And yeah.